What's up, West Leiden? Hope you guys had a great week.
We'd like to welcome back all the students that went to the Iowa Caucus this weekend.
What's up, West Leiden? We're here on our way to Iowa. You already know the 4-hour bus ride with the whole crew. We're looking for a good trip and it's gonna be great.
The 2020 elections are off to a start, with Iowa holding their caucus earlier this week on Monday. 3 of Leiden's social studies teachers took it upon themselves to organize a trip to Iowa so some students could obtain first-hand experience of the caucus system. On the trip, students attended campaign rallies.
Special education teacher, I have lived my dream job.
So with your help, we're not only going to win here in Iowa, not only going to win the Democratic.
Imagine what we can do with the powers of the presidency to make this country a better place to live for all of us.
The next president of the United States, not even he or she, will be above the law, period.
Being able to experience the Iowa caucus firsthand opened up the eyes of many students. The power of holding a civil discussion with your neighbors opens up your eyes and can teach us all a lesson. That politics don't have to be aggressive and violent. It is truly possible to share your own opinion about a candidate in a civil manner.
What brings you to this rally today?
Oh, I'm still very interested in hearing from all the candidates. Tomorrow's caucus night. I want to make sure I go into it well informed.
Do you plan on caucusing tomorrow?
Definitely. I have for many, many years. Tomorrow is very important.
What candidate are you looking at the moment?
Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. But I'm open-minded. I'm still looking at all the candidates, as many as I can find, to come and hear them in person and hear their positions.
The Iowa caucus attracts many different people from all over, not just native Iowans. The power of having civil political conversation with neighbors is what's so attractive and is so important to learn from the Iowa caucus system.
Why do you believe caucusing is important?
Well, it's a starting point. It's a way to express your opinion. Caucus is one way, primary is another way. It depends what, state you're in.
The trip concluded with Leiden's very own students volunteering in the Iowa caucus, ensuring that everyone was taken care of and accounted for, to make the process of caucusing as easy as possible for the participants. Julian Balboa and Miss Gleason share a little about their experience going to their first caucus.
My favorite part of the weekend was going around Iowa, everywhere to see different candidates, especially going to see Pete Buttigieg and how different that is from seeing someone like Bernie Sanders, and how money can play a role in where the rally could be held.
Honestly, it was such an amazing experience to be able to take kids to Iowa. I had never gone to see really any politician speak or gone to the Iowa caucuses before. So to be able to see them up front firsthand, listen to them, be able to get a real feel for who they are as a person was really cool. The caucus itself was really intense, seeing people choose sides, their neighbors pick sides. We saw spouses trying to bring each other over to a different candidate. So it was a really great experience for both the students and myself for being a first-time caucus goer.
Sounds like you guys had a great time in Iowa.
Hey Gato, why did the student cross the road?
Why, Max?
To get to school on time. Based off of certain concerns, we do have some new rules set up on how students should cross Wolf Road.
It is no common sight to see a backup on Wolf Road before school. This has not only brought up parent concerns, but admin concerns as well. Officer Pasoli detailed why such a simple step like crossing the road is so important.
While crossing the street in the morning and at the end of the day, you want to make sure, one, obviously to look both ways, but two, you don't want to be crossing the street in the middle of the street. You want to go to the intersection. That's why we have a crossing guard out there. He'll help you, guide you across the street, make sure all the cars are stopping. A lot of times cars, drivers aren't paying attention, so it's a safety concern. What we've noticed in the morning is that a lot of students are getting out of their cars in the middle of the street on Wolf Road and walking across the street.
Leiden's own cross guard Steve is stationed on the intersection of Wolf and Winters before and after school. With the dangerous conditions, his biggest concern is student safety.
Like I said, the biggest thing is you guys are very precious to me. You're numero uno in my book. I mean, I'll even take a hit for you guys. You guys come first. I don't care if it's snowing, raining.
A simple step like crossing the road is made easy with the proper precautions.
Shout out to Crossing Guard Mr. Steve for the expert advice on how to get to school safely.
Leiden students also got to meet lots of experts from all the fields on Ask the Expert Day this week.
On Wednesday, we had an annual event here at Leiden where students had the opportunity to speak with different experts in different professions.
To be honest, I liked working at Yelp, but after 4 years, I just felt like there was no more growth for me. Every question that any customer had, I already had like a script for it.
Christian Martinez, one of Ms. O'Connor's Consumers Ed students, reflected on his experience on Ask an Expert Day.
My takeaway from these presentations is that I didn't even know that this was actually a job. I didn't know that she has such a good salary for what she does. She also worked hard to get there, and it's a job that I really didn't hear about, and I'm looking forward to.
Thank you for that, Kimmy and Janita.
Have you heard what the AP Spanish students are doing to help raise money for Puerto Rico?
No, I haven't. I'm interested. Let's go check that out.
So the idea to do a fundraiser for Puerto Rico really came out of our Spanish AP classes here at West. And what happened is we do current event readings every week on Puerto Rico. And we started to realize that they were getting hit by earthquakes on almost a daily basis for what's been almost a month. My students started to realize that schools were being damaged, that schools were closed down, classes weren't being held. And as we started to research the story more and more, they wanted to do something.
What I did is I made a flyer so the whole classroom could share it on social media, and that way the whole school could find out about it. People in Puerto Rico, they are probably wanting an education, and what we're trying to do is get that.
So what I did, I donated the gift card because I wanted to help out. Even though it's a small amount of money, I know it can make a big difference.
So the purpose of the fundraiser was to fundraise money for Puerto Rico after the earthquakes that had been going on for a month. I feel like it was a very important cause because of our Hispanic community.
Hola, soy Alexia y estoy con Mr. Drobny y Monse.
Estamos a punto de escoger los ganadores de la rifa para Puerto Rico. Muchas gracias a las personas que compraron boletos.
We would like to introduce, for 2020, the first in-depth project for Wltv.
This feature focuses on Leiden's special ed program.
Here at West Leiden, 16% of all students, approximately 1 in 6, qualify for an IEP. This program is run through Leiden's Special Education Department. Mrs. O'Neill, the department chair, helps run these meetings with student teams in order to form the best plan for each student's individual success.
And an IEP is an individualized education program, and it's really developed after a student gets diagnosed by a doctor or by a psychologist with something that impacts their learning. Speech impairments or a learning disability that impacts their ability to access certain math, reading, or writing concepts. It could be a student who is on the autism spectrum, or a student who has some difficulties with social and emotional regulation. So those are all things that might qualify a student to have an IEP in a school.
Under the IEP law of Illinois, students and their guardians meet at least once a year to discuss their progress, classes, and academic goals. These meetings can have a huge impact on the confidence of students and their families by allowing them to participate in the pace of their education.
My son was diagnosed with autism, and his education was very important to me. We would be in the meeting as well, and they would tell us how he's doing at each level. Which ones were better, which ones were stronger or weaker. And then from there we could also help out in his education as far as him learning what he needs to learn.
On March 4th, 2020, the Kennedy Junior Foundation is hosting Spread the Word Inclusion, a movement aimed towards pushing youth to take action in breaking the barrier between students with disabilities. An important step towards inclusion involves our everyday classes. Teachers can accommodate their lessons to ensure students with IEPs are getting the assistance they need while allowing them to participate in general education classes.
We try to follow the same curriculum, but we tend to slow things down. We might cut certain more challenging content out, and then we also just give the students more guided support. In a lot of those classes, we also have an aide who helps us support and work with the students and directly answer questions.
During the week of the 24th through the 28th, our school's student council is organizing We Are Week, a week dedicated to highlighting our school's diversity and pride. By getting involved in local and national movements such as Spread the Word Inclusion and We Are Week, we can make an impact on the confidence of students and help overcome some of the obstacles in the lives of our peers. No student at Leiden is left behind.
Hope you guys enjoyed this week's segment of WLTV.
And I hope you guys have a great weekend and stay warm. And don't forget,
Go Eagles!